All right, guys, let's get some MLB plays and props for Sunday, March 31st, slate of games. Happy Easter, everybody. Trey, let's get into the leaderboard. Have you start us off?
Flashing my Royals tee because they were bad, and that means I cashed. I gave out the Twins on the money line versus the Royals, and the Twins, they won this game 5-1. So shout out KC for not winning a game yet this year, per usual.
They're so good at doing that. I gave out the over between the Reds and the Nationals. Very exciting game. Didn't get a lot of action until the sixth inning, but we had the over 10 runs. It went up quite a bit. I believe they scored 13, and the Nationals, my Nationals, Trey, scored 3 in the top of the ninth and took this game away from the Reds. I was very excited to see it. Shout out to the Nationals for getting a dub. Let's go to the player props. Have you start us off?
Yeah, and I'm stumbling out of the gates, and I am very upset about it, guys. I am trying to find winners, and I'm confident in my plays today. But yesterday, I was 0-2. I went with Ellie De La Cruz over 9.5 fantasy score in that Nationals game. And Ellie, he only had a single and tried to get us some extra points with a stolen base, but he got caught stealing. So at least he was trying. And I also gave out Tanner Bybee over 15.5 outs versus the A's. Bybee, he kind of was a little bit rusty early on in the game. He only pitched 4 innings and did not even pitch enough in this game to catch the W. So that was very frustrating.
Yeah, I had a 2-0 day here. I had Brian Reynolds to go over 1.5 bases. He had 2 hits in the game, a double and a single against the Marlins. And then I had Patrick Corbin to go over 5.5 hits. I was getting a little bit worried. He looked like a totally different guy. But after the fourth inning, he settled in, gave up 7 hits in the game. So we did go 2-0 there as the plays. Trey, let's go to our plays for tomorrow. Have you start us off?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to be talking about this Pittsburgh Pirates going up against Miami Marlins game. And it's going to be a very entertaining game to watch. Both these teams, though, they kind of have below average expectations coming into this season. The Miami Marlins probably have a little bit more. But the Pirates, they have dominated this season series so far this year, winning all 3 games and have outscored the Marlins by a score of 22-10. And I expect the Marlins to avoid the sweep here, though, guys. Give me the home team. I'm going to take the Marlins on the money line at minus 130. I just believe that these teams are pretty close, so I'm just going to take the better pitching here because the Pirates, they're throwing out Bailey Falter. And if you watched our channel last year, you know that I love attacking Falter because he is simply no bueno. And he kind of backed that up during spring training because Falter, he finished spring training with a 7.88 ERA paired with a 3.19 batting average allowed and a 1.56 whip. Falter, he simply is not a very good pitcher in the Marlins. They're throwing out Trevor Rogers, who pitched pretty well during spring training, finished with a 3.12 ERA paired with a 2.19 batting average allowed and a 1.04 whip. So he kept the base paths pretty clean, and the Marlins, they do actually have a pretty decent lineup. Whenever we look at Arias, Bell, Bryan, De La Cruz, Chisholm, Berger, and newly addition Tim Anderson, I expect them to show up here and at least be able to put up some runs and avoid the sweep. So give me the Marlins here on the money line versus the Pirates.
Yeah, Trey, I like that play there for you. For my play today, we're going to be looking at the Chicago Cubs going on the road to face off against the Rangers. This has been a pretty good series so far. The first game went to extra innings. The Rangers took that one. Then the Rangers just stomped on the Cubs today in the second game. I'd really love to take the Chicago Cubs here to avoid the sweep, but I can't do it. I'm going to take the Rangers minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 105. A lot of 5s there. I'm going with the first 5 innings here because it's too much juice at minus 135 for the game. And I do think we have a very good pitching matchup in this one for us with John Gray. On the other side, it's going to be Jordan Wicks for the Chicago Cubs. I don't let that 4-1 record last season fool you because this guy, as a rookie last season, had 4 wins, 1 loss, and 7 games pitched. He gave up a ton of runs. In 34 innings, he gave up 17 earned runs, 33 hits, having a 4.41 ERA. He just had a ton of run support whenever he was on the mound. Again, it's always tough early in the season, but I'm going to go off stats from last season with Wicks in this game, and I'm sure he's going to have a little bit of nerves coming into this sophomore season in his opening day start. With John Gray on the mound, we are getting a veteran arm and the guy who's been very consistent for 3 consecutive seasons, now 2 of which with the Rangers. Last season, he only gave up 72 runs. He would have the occasional bad game or just giving up 3+, even 4+ runs. But more times than not, when John Gray was on the mound, he'd give up 2 runs or less. I do think we're getting the win here in the pitching matchup, especially in the first 5 innings. And the Rangers last season hit better off of left-handed pitching. They brought back a ton of familiar faces, and I expect them to hit better off of left-handed pitchers again. And guess what? Wicks is a left-handed pitcher. Give me the Rangers here to get ahead quick, minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 105. Trey, let's take a look at the props. Have you start us off?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to be going over to this Tigers game. I'm going to be taking Spencer Torkelson to go over 7.5 fantasy score against the White Sox. I really love this over for Torkelson in this game because he started this season off to a great start. Through his first 2 games, Spencer. He's averaging 6.5 fantasy score per game, which is under this number, but it's not entirely his fault because he's batting really well, starting with a 500 batting average, but he's just never been hit around to score any runs yet. But I do believe that today is the day that he continues to get on base, but he's going to get batted around to get some extra runs and maybe even have some people on base for him to bat in. That's because the White Sox, they're throwing out Eric Feedy, and he has not pitched very well this year. During spring training, Feedy, he allowed a 300 batting average and had a 1.29 whip. So he was allowing a ton of base runners whenever he was pitching. And I do expect Torkelson to be able to get a hold of one in this game because he loves playing against the White Sox. Over his last 8 games versus Chicago, Torkelson, he has a 333 batting average and has 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and 6 runs scored. And I expect him to get his first dinger of the season here. So give me Spencer Torkelson. I'm going to be taking him over 7.5 fantasy score versus the White Sox.
Yeah, Trey, I like that one there for you. For my batting prop today, it's going to be another fan favorite. Lane Thomas of the Washington Nationals go over 1.5 bases going up against the Reds. Last season, I talked about Thomas as potentially one of the best leadoff hitters in baseball. He was definitely top 5 in my opinion. He recorded 168 hits last year. He had a 268 batting average, and he has failed to get a hit this season in the first 2 games against the Reds. These have not been low-scoring games either, so he's had a ton of chances at the plate, 9 at-bats. He just hasn't had a ball in play yet. He's going to get a great chance against Nick Martinez, who I will admit I don't know a ton about, but it looks like last season he came out as a bullpen as a middle reliever. He did get a couple starts late in the season for the Padres last season, and it looks like he's going to be a strikeout pitcher this season. It also looks like he's really struggled earlier in his career, but he's trying to settle himself back down, having improved ERA in 4 consecutive years. The reason I'm going with Thomas, though, in this game is because last season, of the 168 hits he had, 109 of those were against right-handed pitching, having 45 extra base hits against right-handed pitching as well. The numbers are always going to be skewed a little bit towards hitting benefits against right-handers because we don't see a ton of left-handed pitching, but I'm going to go off of what I saw last season with Lane Thomas. I think he hits much better against righties and lefties. Give me Lane Thomas here to go over 1.5 bases as the play. Trey, let's go to the pitching props. Have you start us off?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to be going with Bailey Falter here. I talked about him earlier in my game pick. I'm going to be taking him to go over 2.5 earned runs allowed versus the Marlins. I really love this over for Falter in this game because I do expect him to get lit up here. And this is going to be short and sweet because I did break down his stats in the game pick section, and I highlighted that he's simply not a very good pitcher. And this Marlins lineup is pretty nasty. I touched on it earlier. Arias, Bell, Brian De La Cruz, Chisholm, Berger, and Tim Anderson. They just need to get some rhythm, and they're finally going to start to click. And I believe a start versus Falter is just what they need because this lineup, it's just too stacked to not do damage against Falter. We saw Falter allow a 300-plus batting average during spring training, and that's just not going to go away during the regular season. We've seen him not pitch very well during the regular season throughout his entire career, and I expect these hitters to show up and show out at home and avoid the sweep. So give me Bailey Falter to go over 2.5 earned runs allowed versus the Marlins.
Yeah, Trey, I like that play there. For my player prop, it's going to be a rookie from last season, Bryce Miller, to go under 2.5 earned runs allowed going up against the Boston Red Sox. Last season, his rookie season with the Mariners, Bryce Miller did finish with an above 500 win-loss percentage, having a 4.32 ERA and 119 strikeouts. He was really cooking in the first 5 or 6 starts, and then all of a sudden, he had back-to-back really bad games against the Yankees and the Rangers. Shook up his confidence just a little bit, but as a rookie last season, he had 14 starts of the 25 starts allowing under 2 runs. He did have a very few bad games where he gave up multiple runs, but having 14 games, over half of your starts allowing under 2 runs as a rookie is phenomenal. I've heard nothing but positive things about his improvement in the offseason. I'm expecting a great performance out of the sophomore this season in the MLB. Give me Bryce Miller to go under 2.5 earned runs in his opening day start against the Red Sox. Trey, let's take a look at that graphic. Have you start us off?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to go with the Marlins on the money line versus the Pirates. I think they're going to avoid the sweep here and get a win on the board. I feel like they're the better team, and they're throwing out the better pitcher, and they're at home. So I feel like there's a lot of good trends in our favor. Also going with Spencer Torkelson to go over 7.5 fantasy score against the White Sox. He's getting a good pitching matchup, and he's been getting on base, and I feel like he's finally going to be able to get some RBIs and runs in this game to get us over the hump. Also going with Bailey Falter over 2.5 earned runs allowed versus the Marlins. He's not a good pitcher. He's going to be the reason why the Marlins win on the money line, and he's going to be allowing a ton of runs.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rangers here in the first 5. Too much juice on the money line for the game. Also like the pitching matchup, Dre against Wicks. They give me Lane Thomas over 1.5 bases. Hasn't got a hit yet. He's going to get a hit in this game for sure. And then Bryce Miller, the rookie from last season, I expect him to improve this season. Under 2.5 earned runs in his opening day start against the Boston Red Sox. Guys, That's going to do it for the MLB player props and game picks for Sunday, March 31st slate of games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching. Super Bowl. We also have 12,000 subs coming right around the bend. We're at 10,200. We're going to give away 2 tickets to anybody to any game they want. NBA, NFL, college basketball. It doesn't matter. We can wait until the new season for NFL. Any game you want to go, whenever we get to 12K, we're going to have that giveaway coming up as well. Leaderboard. We had multiple questions this morning about how to become a member for the YouTube channel. Let's do that really quick tutorial. You're going to go to youtube.com. You're going to go to Bears Profit Plays. You're going to search it in. You're going to hit our thing. There's a join button right just to the right of subscribe. You can click that. There's 2 options. You have the Bear Pack for $4.99. That gives you access to YouTube member plays. And then you have the Bear Pack Gold for $7.99 a month. That gives you access to our member plays on YouTube. And it gives you a 1-month membership to our website, bearsprofitplays.com. So if you get the Bear Pack Gold, you save yourself $2 a month. A little bit cheaper if you want to do that. But that is the tutorial for anybody that needed it. We had multiple questions today through email about how to do it, and it wasn't working. But if you want to know, there it is right there. Trey,